Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Today I'm just working on another braided rope project. When I was working on this one, the horse lead one, I noticed how much the rope started to look like the handle or the thick end of a stock whip. So I thought, I wonder if I can make a stock whip. This is the cord I was using for the horse lead. I suggest you have a look at that one first, that video first. It explains quite a bit about the process I'm about to show you again. And I've also got this pink and white rope here. This time I'm using 2 strands at once, just to make the colour a bit more interesting, and that comes out with like a stripy colour to it. Just popped it off there. If you haven't seen the other video yet, I'll just give you a quick demo on how this works, and you'll also see how I do it with 2 different pieces of cord. Just wind those out a bit, step around behind the camera, a little more. What we're doing is, as I should put my glasses on. Oops. There's the drop test already. You're probably saying Dave's not wearing his hat. You can see here I've got a white one there and a white one here and a red one there and a red one there. Basically what you do is just do two of one colour, then change to the other colour. So if I do 2 red ones, stick my needle in there like that, go around the pin and just pop that white one over the top there, like that. Give it a little pull on the bottom. Now I've got 3 red ones and a white one, so we'll just change to the white one now. A little bit loose. So now I'll put my needle in the next one there. Pop the white one around there. Put the red one over the top. Now we're back to 2 and 2 again. So I'll do another white one. It's around there. And just pop the red one over the top. Pull down the bottom. So now we're back to, I'll just do one more red one to even it up. And we're back to 2 and 2. Okay, so that's the process that I'm basically doing to get those happening like that, and to make the handle a bit more interesting. What I need to do now is figure out a way to make this quite a bit stiffer, so that when you give it a crack, you've got a handle on it. I haven't actually tried this yet, but I'm digging through my stock that I've got lying around here. I found this piece of metal rod. It's not that big a diameter. For the curious amongst you, it's about 5 mil on the outside there. This has got some kind of plastic coating on it, but that won't hurt for what we're doing. Yeah, the plastic coating's like 0.2 of a mil or something like that. What I'm going to do is put that down the inside of the cord. It'll be a bit of a job to get it all in there. And what I also want to do, to save the end of this poking through over time as I crack it, I've cut off a little bit of tube here. That's just the insulation off a piece of old electrical cord that I wasn't using. And if I get that and jam it on the end of this like that, We're getting a bit of rain today, you probably hear it on the roof there. So that's on there fairly good. And what will happen is now the end of the bar can't poke through the rope as we crack it. It's on about that far. That'll give it something to do. Can't get it on much further. Now just to get that bit of rod down the inside of my cord here, I'll take this off there. And I'll make these a little bit bigger so they don't pull out while we're mucking around with it. And the red one as well. Don't want it to unravel them while we're not looking. Okay, so there's got us 4 pretty big loops. And now 2 cords sticking out. Now we're going to put this one down in here, plain end first. And you can see it's almost long enough that it should be able to go right down to the end. And I'm hoping that as I keep braiding, I'll just be able to braid around this black cord and let it swallow it up. I'm not sure if that's going to be too long for a whip handle, but I think it's looking pretty much what it should be. Well, let's poke that in there. It's almost down the end now. I can feel it right down there. Hopefully I can get it a little bit further. That's pretty close. And that's obviously stiff now. That piece of rod is, I don't know what it's made out of, but it's fairly rigid. It's not easy to bend like a piece of fence wire. So now, hopefully I can get that back through my little stitching tool. There we go. Easy peasy. Just drop the cord again. The other roll this time. Now I'll just get my 4 loops back over top of that and tighten them up. It's going to be a bit of a jam to get all this to work while that tube is sticking out of there. A little bit of perseverance, I reckon we'll be able to do it. Make sure I don't put any silly twists in it. Looking pretty good. Now let's see if I can do a couple more stitches. Just round and round, nothing too complicated. Slowly it'll swallow that up. Alright, that's probably enough for now. That's slowly gonna swallow it up down in there, and I'll do something with those strings later on, make them even. And when I get to reducing the diameter a bit, I'll bring you back and show you what I'm planning to do there. It's the next day, or a couple of days later. I've just brought out one of my existing whips. This one hasn't been used in a while. The leather's starting to dry out a bit. The length of the leather part is about 2 meters long, and you can see here how it's fairly good diameter. It's braided leather. I think it's 4 strands to make this braid. And as I look down, you can see it gradually gets thinner and thinner and thinner all the way to the end. Normally there'd be a small piece of string tied on the end that makes the crack, and that wears out, so you've got to be able to replace the little bit at the end that makes the crack. So yeah, you can see how it starts off fairly thick and slowly works its way down. Looking at the handle here, it's about the same length as my handle, a little bit longer, but that doesn't really matter. And you can see that mine is about the same diameter as what this starts off at. So I'm off to a good start. What I'll do now is I've just made up a little test piece from this 2.5mm cord. This stuff is both, the red one and the white one is both 3mm. This is 2.5, and you can see it's a fair bit smaller in diameter than this one. I don't really want to step down too suddenly. So what I might do is just swap out one of these cords for the 2.5mm, and then as I get a bit further down, I'll drop the other one out, so I'll only be going with the 2.5mm. And I've also got some 1mm cord to progress on from there. So by the time I get to the full length, which is about 2 meters from here, that should give me a pretty good taper and something to crack with. So let's just do a bit more of that. I'll show you how I'm going to tie this off anyway. Let's just cut off the red one there. Just leave myself enough to tie a knot. I don't need my little stub. So we'll just tie a reef knot in that, around that way and around that way like that. Left over right, right over left. I'm sure you the Boy Scouts among us would remember that. Now my goal is just to let that get built down the middle there, so we should not be able to see it. Hopefully that won't come off with all the flexing. We'll find out. So I'll pop my cord back down the hole here. Like that. Pop my loops back over my nails. I'll just have to pull those tight again. Needle. So I've just got to work that one in now. Do one of the red ones. Okay, so now I'm going to leave the knot in the middle. You can see it's just about swallowed the end of that knot there. Let's just take it off the spoolie and have a look. You see I lost a couple of little furry bits, but you can see the diameter is reduced a little bit there. So I'll just keep going with that now, and we'll do another 300 or so. Then I'll see whether I drop down further or keep going. Anyway, that's how I did a knot. If I had done a better job, we wouldn't have those furry bits sticking out. Alright, I finished braiding up the whip. Just to review a little bit, I'll show you what I've done here. We've got the nice thick, this is basically an 8 braid up at this end. It's about, where's my vernier? It's about 18 mil, I suppose, 17 mil diameter up the thick end. What happens is Here I've used 2 different strings, going over 4 pegs on the stitcher, or the knitter. And here, these ones are 3mm each. And here I've dropped down to a 3mm and a 2.5mm. And then further down, I've dropped down to 2.5mm. And further down again, I've dropped down to a 2.5 and a 2mm. Then 2 2mm. Then I think that's 3 on 3 pins of the stitcher. Then I've gone down to 2 pins, and then I've just crocheted the last little bit, and then a single 2mm string. The idea is, when you crack a whip, it makes a wave that travels down the length of the rope. So when you're up on the thick stuff, the wave is fairly big. And what happens is, as it goes smaller and smaller, the wave makes a tighter and tighter bend. As it's got the same amount of force on it, the rope travels quicker. And so the smaller it gets, the quicker it goes, till you get down to the end here, and it's going quicker and quicker. And by the time you get right down to the tip, it's doing the speed of sound, which is about, I don't know, 610 miles per hour. You can look that up. And basically, as that flips around, that makes the little bit on the end makes a tiny sonic boom, and that's the crack you can hear. So let's go out and give it a test. You want to turn with a whip, Indy? What about you 3? What about you, Swoopy? I'm down in the Valley of the Shadows at the moment. I can't do this up at the house because the dogs absolutely hate it. So gone for a little walk. Not that hard to crack a whip. The idea is not to get yourself in the back of the head with the end of it. So let's give it a crack and let's see what happens. You basically just come up and then bring it down with a rush, and then that'll flick the end around. Got it in one. Ain't much more to it than that. Let's see how that went. That'll probably do it for this video, guys. I'd like to thank you for watching. Any questions, just drop us a note in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one. Can't really see you. There you are. Little bugger. This magpie's one we call Hoppy. Her foot fell off a couple of years ago. Well, I suppose about a year ago. That's Hoppy's husband. That is Hoppy's son. They figured out that they can get horse pellets while the horses are feeding. They drop a few and they pick them up. In the finish we took pity on them and just flick them a couple. I think Hoppy got into a fight over territory. Hoppy's smart enough to take a pellet with her. Her foot was dangling for a while. Eventually it fell off. She's looking pretty beaten up these days. Just thought I'd show you they're not all as mean as the ones at Swoopers. Got a really nice call. I'll try and catch that for you one day.